I want to talk a little bit about patriarchy. How y'all doing? My name is Christian Julian Chickbaloo, and I want to talk to you about patriarchy. So, as a man myself, a trans man specifically, I feel like I've gotten to see just what patriarchy can really be and what it means, especially being a women's gender sexuality studies major. I feel like I am. I don't even feel like I know that I have the tools to decipher what is and what is not patriarchy. So, please let me enlighten you on what patriarchy is and how it shows up in our lives and how it's invisible. And that's why it's so effective. You can't fix something that you can't name. You can't fix something that you can't identify. Do you know what I mean? You can't fix racism if you can't see racism. You can't fix a broken leg if you can't see where the leg is broke at. You know what I'm saying? It's just counterproductive. You're not going to be able to fix the problem if you can't even see it. So I had some notes. I had a class earlier today and it sparked some thoughts in my mind, and I really just wanted to share it with y'all because knowledge is a gift, knowledge is a tool, knowledge is power. And I've been gifted and blessed to be able to retrieve knowledge in such a high level. Higher education has honestly taught me a lot and it's changed me. People think it's just all about homework and it's hard and no, but everything, you know what I'm saying, worth having don't come easy. But this has been easy for me in a sense because I love it so much and I'm passionate about learning how to help people that yes, it's work. Having to do discussion posts and reply to two peers is work. Having to meet that 500 word count is work. But when you're actually interested in what you're talking about, it's not that hard. You know what I mean? You fall in love with the work. You fall in love with the enlightenment. You fall in love with the knowledge. So let's get into it. Without further ado, again, let's talk about patriarchy. What is patriarchy and how to challenge it from a trans man's perspective? Title before this, edit this out. Patriarchy is a system that stops men from feeling a full range of emotions like joy, sadness. Follow me. Patriarchy promotes dominant behavior and violence over women or other men who do not act stereotypically masculine. Things like homophobic slurs, that'll give you a hint if patriarchy is near. Saying things like, oh, you're a pussy, don't be a little girl. Oh, you're being a little bitch. Things like that. Excuse my language. 18 plus. But let me continue. Follow me and I'm going to break it down for you. Patriarchy is why men don't cook and expect a woman to do it for them. Patriarchy labels men as superior and women as inferior. Patriarchy forces men to do it all and patriarchy forces men to do it all and be leaders 24/7. Patriarchy is the rent. Patriarchy is the reason men feel weird being goofy and feminine. Patriarchy is homophobic, sexist, and outdated. Realize that patriarchy is maintained by both men and women. It's not just men who's maintaining patriarchy. It's not just men who's maintaining patriarchy. It's a system that we're all playing into every single day. Follow me. Men are not inherently the enemy, and saying that they are does more harm than good. Saying you hate men does more harm than good. If we want to fix this, it has to be a collective effort, meaning everybody has to be in this. Why is it in your interest to fight against patriarchy? Patriarchy affects women and men alike, and everyone in between. Men, patriarchy expects you to be the worker. Patriarchy expects you to take care of everything. Patriarchy expects you to be the most masculine, toxic man you can be. Masculinity is beautiful, but toxic masculinity is what patriarchy thrives off. What is toxic masculinity? Let's define that. Toxic masculinity is saying things like, hey, be a man. Hey, you're a pussy. Hey, all those derogatory things that people say you have to be because you're a man. What else? Toxic masculinity is not letting other people be themselves because you're policing them to be the most masculine men they can be. Patriarchy looks like upholding these systems and operations by just policing other people, pretty much, and continuing to say whatever you want, regardless if it's homophobic, transphobic, whatever. Patriarchy is what is keeping men locked up and not able to do the things they want to do. And guess what? Women also play into this. They do. How do they play into this? Women can also say all these things that we assume just men say on the playground when they're kids. No, that's not true. Check yourself on sexist behavior. Furthermore, here are some more ways to challenge it. Check yourself on sexist behavior and homophobic or transphobic language, such as boys will be boys, bros before hoes, and gay and trans slurs. Research feminist strategies of challenging patriarchy from authors like Bell Hooks. P.S. True feminists fight for men too. We are not anti-men. As a feminist myself and a women's gender sexuality studies major, I do not hate men. A lot of people jump into my coursework in this field of study thinking that feminists are just about being anti-men, but once you actually dive into it, you realize feminists are fighting for men too. Feminists are fighting for the freedom of all people. That is what true feminism is, and I'm gladly a part of that. I'm a man myself. Honestly, studying feminism has just shown me all the ways that I can even be a man and not feel policed by society. I can't tell you the amount of times that people have come up to me or told me something because I'm a man. You can tell I'm a man when you look at me, but then when I start acting how I act, they get uncomfortable because I don't fit the general stereotype of what a man is supposed to be. When I start watching SpongeBob and acting goofy, men look at me like I'm crazy. When I start giggling and doing feminine gestures, men look at me like I'm crazy. When I say men, I'm generalizing because not all men are like this. Clearly, I'm an example of this. I'm a man and I do not follow general patriarchy ways. And I do not follow general patriarchal ways. Yes, I do have some tendencies because I'm a man. So guess what? When you're a man, you feel what society is pushing onto you. After transitioning, as soon as I transitioned, I realized that the life I live is very different than the one I used to live. I realized that being a man, people perceiving me as a man, first thing when they see me, they treat me a lot different and they expect a lot more from me. Back in the day when people used to see me, I used to just be a girl. So I didn't really have that much expectation on me besides being a woman. People expected me to be really nice, dainty, wear skirts, be nice, all of that. That's what my mom at least expected of me, my family, That's just natural. It's normal. So we say, even though gender is so they say, even though gender is socially constructed and is actually not real, it's only real because we keep saying that gender means this and gender means that. We only say blue is for boys because we made that rule up. Blue is not a color for boys. It's not. Blue is not a color for boys inherently. It can be, but it's not the only color. We say pink is for girls. Why? Because that's the way it's programmed. We say Barbies go with girls because that's the way it was socially constructed. We say little boys like dinosaurs and trucks because that's the way we socially constructed it. We attribute these things to masculinity and we attribute others to femininity. This is not natural. This is not natural order at all. We're basically forcing people into these categories. And it's okay if you fall into that category naturally, but I think the issue is when we force people to go in them. Oh, you're a boy, you must like blue and you must get a construction job, not allowing the boy to find him or herself wherever they may wander. Because, like me, I was born a little girl, but I ended up being a man. So just give children the freedom to explore and be. I hope I kind of summed that up. Let me continue on the challenges, the ways we can challenge patriarchy, toxic masculinity, and these systems that really hold us men down. Uh, and it's not fun to be mean to women. We got to unlearn this. I'm in the process of unlearning. If you want to help, maybe get the fast lane pass to unlearning, I suggest you take a couple classes in women's gender sexuality studies, women's studies, gender studies, something of the sort, and you'll see it's not just about women. One of the ways I think we can challenge it is by standing up against violence. I think as a man, it's very normal for you to be violent and very, not assertive, but aggressive. And that's not the norm. We don't have to fight to assert our manhood. We don't have to fight to show that we're a man. We don't have to fight and use fighting words to prove a point. That's not how it works. Let's instead use empathy and be the gentle humans we can be. We can be big, strong muscle men while also being nice and compassionate and actually feeling our feelings and not feeling like we have to suppress everything down because men keep it together 24/7 and men never get sad. Men are only angry. When men are angry, that's good and it's acceptable because men get angry. When men are happy, when men are feeling their emotions, when men are crying about a situation, they're seen as weak. Don't be a pussy. What's wrong with being a pussy? Why are we always attributing being a pussy with being weak and then we call women pussies and they have pussies? Why do we do this? It's on purpose. It's all socially constructed. Women are not weak. We just labeled them to be in society. Another way we can challenge these things is to be you and be you out loud. When I say that, I mean don't give up about what other people have to say about how you dress, how you walk, how you talk, what the things you engage in and the things you cook, the things you don't cook. Do not let people judge you. If you're a man and you want to go out and get a little raspberry margarita, you should be allowed to go get that raspberry margarita with your girls, okay? You should be allowed to go out and do that. You don't have to get a beer just because you're a dude. If you want to get a beer, great. I drink beer. I also love a good margarita. My point is, do not feel trapped by expectations of your gender because it's very limiting and it's not real in the first place. It's only real because we keep saying it's real. To undo this, we must break the cycle, and it starts with you. It starts with you. Are you going to go out? Are you going to assume that men do this, women do that? Are you going to put people in their place? And are you going to also do that with your own actions? Are you going to only wear that hat, that snapback, and that t shirt? Not because you want to wear it, but because you feel like that's what you must do? Check and see. Are you doing the things that you want to do because you want to, or do you feel like you have to? I've been there. I wore skirts, and I do love a good skirt when I'm not forced to be in it, which is my point. Just because I'm not saying that, what I'm saying, we should all start acting crazy and just, if you're a man and you don't like pink, now you should go love pink. No, what I'm trying to say is be true to yourself. And I want to create room and space for people to be able to do that. If you love blue as a man, love it. I love blue, but I also love yellow. I love a good pink. You know, I just want to give people the space, the freedom, and this even goes for sexuality. This goes for anything. Don't feel like you have to stay in the closet and be ashamed. Society only thinks homosexuality is bad because we've all deemed it to be bad. And if you're heterosexual, that's good. That's the norm. You did good. You followed the norm. You're a good one. We make these things up and we reinforce them. They're not true. Be you out loud. Don't care about what anyone else has to say, because the moment you start caring is the moment that you start getting diminished. Who cares about other people, man? I mean, I care about other people, but when it comes to living your authentic life, you can't care about other people. Of course, you want to be nice and considerate of other people's feelings and all that, but what about yours? Live your life. Do what you want to do. And I'm using gender because again, I'm studying this. This is my field of study. This is who I am as a person, as a trans man. Gender is very, I talk about it a lot because it's it's what I live, breathe every day. I see gender. I've dissected it in different ways, being trans, and then going into this field of study. I am really knowledgeable in gender, sexuality, race, these identifiers. I'm very knowledgeable in them. I can see how being in one category gets you treated in society versus how another gets you treated in society, and how one category gives you certain privileges, uh, and each category gives you privileges. Like, for instance, male, female. When I was perceived as a female, I had certain privileges. When I was perceived as a male, I had certain privileges, and I had disadvantages on both. I'd say some of the disadvantages of being perceived as a male is the expectations that people expect me to act like, talk like, behave like, just everything. Um, it's something I had to realize, like, oh, as a man now, it's just I'm perceived different. Talking to other men specifically, talking to other men who are not aware of this trap they've been set up to be in, patriarchy, and having to be this manly man that they don't like being all the time. They're also soft humans like everyone. So it's talking to those I find the most resistance, because I'm a walking example of what it is to break out of this cycle, and it shakes people up that are in it because they're like, "What is going on with this dude? Why is he so out there? Why is he like this?" And I'd say my one of my most profound experiences, disadvantages, being perceived as a woman, is perhaps, I'm trying to think. Safety wise, I've never had a problem. I was always a mask presenting female in the sense that it's just very athletic. And I think athleticism is attributed to masculinity sometimes. But honestly, I don't have nothing's coming to mind. But as a man, I'm speaking right now because this is my experience. Like, yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, man. I hope I hit somebody with this because it was on my mind heavy. I was in the bed and I had this idea. I really wrote a lot of notes for this, man. I was in class typing it up. I had such a strong feeling about this. But yeah, I love y'all, and this is at the beginning as a feminist, as a connoisseur of gender, sexuality, all the things. I want to leave you just with these words. I want you to know that I will fight for everyone. I'm an advocate for everyone. I am very, very keen when someone tells me there's an issue somewhere. I like to pay attention to it. I don't just overlook and overstep. So if I can help people with my knowledge, then so be it. That's why I'm here. But again, I hope y'all enjoyed. Beautiful, beautiful people. I love you. I hope you love me too. If you don't, it's okay. Not everyone's gonna love me, but I tried. But yeah. Like, come on, bro. Mucho gusto.
We're buying or renting, we're paying money for, goods and products and services. So the characteristics of a market economy involve limited government, markets and prices like supply and demand, competition, self-interest, freedom of choice, owning private property, that kind of thing. And when it comes to marketing, visible hand of the market. So we want to ask her, hopefully you've heard of this concept in your macro econ class, but hopefully you know what the invisible hand means and why it matters. Hopefully you've heard of
Alright, y'all. Alright, what's up? Honestly, I was gonna say I'm not the best vlogger, but just because I got out of class and I went to go eat, but I didn't record what I ate. Basically, I made a turkey burger. I'm gonna make one for my girlfriend later, so I'll show y'all what that looks like. But look at the sun. Look at the sun, man. It's so bright. But yeah, this is my life as a stay-at-home student, bro. I feel like I'm really a stay-at-home student, bro. Like, yeah, I do go to class once a week, but you know what I'm saying? Oh yeah, I'm outside right now with my pets. No active track. Koti. Koti, koti. But yeah, man, they just be out here chilling. You happy, Koti? You doing nothing? Oh, you happy?
So yeah, this is my life. Move, Rico. No sniff, sniff. Move. Move, Rico. Rico. I'm petting her. No sniff, sniff. Good job. Stay, okay? Rico, can you stay?